This is your daily dose of all things royal.
Oh, Canada, you've only gone and done it again. Did we all have fun? So long as our brothers and sisters are striving to heal and grow, the games will go on. So long as there are those around the world who view you with sympathy rather than admiration and respect, the games will go on. And so long as the challenges around us demand it and require it, the games will go on. Bring on Invictus Games Birmingham 2027. You guys have permission to party. Thank you.
And the grift goes on, the grift goes on. Of course, Harry wants these games to go on because they want the war to go on.
That you can take that back to Ukraine with you. I said the same thing last time in Düsseldorf, but I know there's new faces and new competitors here. So the whole world, this whole Invictus community and the whole world stands with you. So take that back with you to Ukraine. And thank you for taking the time to come and join us, guys. It would not be an Invictus Games without you.
Welcome back, my gorgeous, good-looking friends. If you think that we could go just one day without seeing or hearing from the dastardly duo, you are wrong. So this woman that we're calling Meghan Markle has reared her ugly-looking head again in a new Instagram post that now has been saturating the media, promoting this as-ever endeavor. This business that Netflix, not Meghan, is about to launch is guaranteed to fail. And Netflix is, for whatever reason, not understanding that Meghan is so toxic that the only people talking about her are those who are speaking out, exposing this corruption and fraud on the back of the taxpayer.
Then Netflix came on not just as my partner in the show, but as my partner in my business.
Now, I get that they're probably going to try and recoup their loss, but I don't really think it's a loss, and here's why. Now that people have started to wake up and realize that the things that I've been saying is not conspiracy theory, then perhaps maybe now you will be open and receptive to understanding what I've been saying about this relationship Harry and Meghan have with Netflix. Remember, when Heart of Invictus came out, I did a full piece going through it saying that this is for war. This is propaganda that is being pushed out. And I did say that the other documentaries or projects that Harry and Meghan have been involved with do have a political aspect to it. Now, while so many have called me a conspiracy theorist and off the rails and unhinged about this, maybe now, since the USAID scandal has been exposed, you might want to go back and watch these to understand how Harry and Meghan are being used and why Netflix is involved here. It's recently been exposed that USAID has been pumping money into various media outlets like Politico, like BBC, and guess what? Like Netflix. Since the time I created those videos going over the Heart of Invictus, I have been in possession of this wonderful little gem that you see on your screen above. Much like the political topics I often delve into, the public has largely been unreceptive to exploring the implications of this couple's entanglement with the deep state, citing that I'm unhinged or I'm conspiracy theorist. I understand that this might have previously flown over everyone's heads, but I think timing now seems just right as the mainstream media is beginning to scratch the surface on all of this, drawing more public scrutiny. Now that more people are paying attention, let's consider USAID's role, which has been pivotal in funding globalist initiatives aimed at regime change or change that benefits U.S. interests. Netflix, in this scenario, becomes a vehicle for propaganda, subtly pushing an agenda through the medium of storytelling. Take, for instance, the case that you see in this post in 2021 with the U.S. Agency of International Development, or USAID, allocated $15 million from U.S. taxpayers to a UN Women initiative, ostensibly for the empowerment of women and girls. However, beneath this veneer, the true purpose was to harness the power of narrative and strategic messaging across various media platforms to foster political change and reform. It's crucial, folks, to recognize that USAID often serves as a clandestine conduit for the CIA, channeling funds to influence outcomes that align with U.S. strategic interests and exert control over geopolitical landscapes. This is why this fund exists, and this is why they are in so much trouble. So based off of the research that I've done about this Egyptian film, in understanding how this would benefit U.S. interests, I get the idea that this selective critique is to fit a Western narrative. We are always trying to push our culture and democracy onto other countries to benefit us. So the little information that I was able to find on this film highlights gender oppression in a rural Egyptian setting, reinforcing this idea that women in the Middle East are primarily victims of backward cultural traditions. This fits quite nicely into a common Western framework that portrays the region as inherently oppressive towards women, often ignoring the structural and geopolitical factors such as economic instability, authoritarianism, and foreign intervention that contribute to these conditions. Without getting too deep into the weeds about United States and Egypt's relationship, the U.S. does not want Egypt to collapse into chaos, but it also does not want it to be truly free, because a truly democratic Egypt might prioritize its own interests over American ones. Instead, Washington, D.C. supports a managed, gradualist approach to social issues like women's rights using controlled narratives, like films such as these and NGO projects, to signal progress without demanding real systemic change. You see how this all works? This is all about controlling the image and balancing that the United States is champion for women, but they're really not enforcing it, just sort of pivoting and controlling the narrative. Even though Egypt is one of the most repressive regimes and enforces censorship to the nth degree, America is not going to damage its relationship with Egypt because they are a strategic ally for the United States in the Middle East. It's why we give so many billions of dollars in military aid to them every year. And what's really silly about this is that I highly doubt many people in Egypt had the opportunity to watch this film because censorship is rife. More than likely, this was put together to appeal to the West, to give off these optics that this is what's going on in Egypt and awareness is being spread and something's actually being done about it, when in reality, nothing is being done about it. And this is what they mean when they talk about the power of storytelling. Now, who else likes to tell stories?
How will you use Archwell as a means of speaking to things that are important to you in the world?
I think in creating, life is about storytelling, right? About the stories we tell ourselves, the stories we're told, what we buy into. And
life is about storytelling, right? About the stories we tell ourselves, the stories we're told, what we buy into. And
have storytelling through a truthful lens that hopefully is uplifting. It's going to be great, knowing how many people that can land with and being able to give a voice to a lot of people that are underrepresented and aren't really heard.
Now, this is just my opinion, but if I had to speculate, Archwell Fugazi Public Charity is a government cutout, where Archwell Productions was going to be the propaganda arm, and money from USAID was going to flow to Netflix and Netflix into Archwell. So you see how all of this works? This is most likely the reason why Netflix hasn't cut these two loose. I suspect that they will get cut loose and they will spin a story that the contract ended, but in reality, it's most likely because USAID funds has stopped. Now, I do suspect that this With Love Meghan or As Ever or whatever the heck that she's trying to do here now in this last-ditch effort to try and make something out of this relationship with Netflix will be the last, because no more money is going to be going to them because these two are not profitable. This whole entire time, the money that has been flowing, I guarantee, came from the U.S. taxpayer, which is infuriating. But we are here now, and it's time to expose this and open this up. And this is why it's so important to keep making noise. For the past few years, I keep saying that these two need to be called to Congress to answer for a lot of the stuff that they have been doing, stuff that they don't want people talking about, and is why we see their faces every single day with nonsense to keep us distracted. If we really want to see something being done here, rather than complaining about seeing these two every day in our faces, I have a call to action. So this account on X, Doge_IRS, is looking for the public to direct message them, meaning send them a private note about insights on finding and fixing waste, fraud, and abuse relating to the IRS. So I went ahead and did just that, reporting Archwell Fugazi Public Charity and asking them to look into it. Then pasting not only the New York Post article, but also the playlist that I have put together with 20 of my videos going through every facet and crevice of this fraudulent charity. Now, for those that want to do something and are on X, I suggest you doing the same thing by direct messaging this account and send them whatever information you feel is important for them to see pertaining to this fraudulent charity. And by all means, if the easiest thing for you to do is to attach this playlist, go ahead and do that. Or feel free to pick out a couple videos that you found the most jarring and send it to them. But I think the most important thing here is to continue the momentum of making this noise so they can't ignore it. Harry and Meghan want to continue to keep distracting us. It's why they saturate the media with all this bullshit propaganda. They don't want us looking at this stuff because this is the real scandal. This is the corruption that they have been involved with. Now, I hope people don't mind or starting to see that it doesn't matter that I'm not a part of the aristocracy, nor that I go to fashion school, to show you that the things that I've been telling you are not delusional. They are not unhinged. And quite frankly, now all coming out just as I've been telling everybody it would. Now, at this point, I think many of you can trust the kid. There's a lot of information that I have yet to share here. And part of my reasoning for holding back information is because there's no sense in sharing something if people are not listening. But I do feel we're getting to a place where more people are listening and paying attention. Before I forget, if you could do the kid a favor and hit that like button, it's always appreciated. And I think now is a good time to ask people, if you are subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and quickly check to see if you're still subscribed. We do know that YouTube loves to unsubscribe people without telling them. But also, if you want to be a part of the cool kids in staying ahead of the curve and being updated and educated about what Harry and Meghan have been really up to and their business activities and political involvement here in the United States, this is the channel that you want to be on. But anyway, I will be back a little bit later on today for story time. I think this next video, many of you are going to enjoy, so you don't want to miss that. And let me know your thoughts. As always, I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe, and I will talk to you later. Bye.
Such a fraud.